guys, it's Peggy with I'mLosingItToday.com, and we are back for our Wednesday session with Angie. And if you missed our first session on Monday, go back and take a look, because as we promised, Angie is going to show us how she is rolling out her dough. Yeah. And we had talked a little bit about Grandma Zooks. I want to make sure I get that right. But Grandma Zook was a person, am I correct?
You are correct.
So tell me a little bit about who she was and the history of this of the produce place.
Okay, so I am I'm just rolling out some dough here, and this is basically what I would have done as a kid. I would have been sitting here watching my grandmother do this. So she made amazing stuff. She taught me how to cook, how to can, how to freeze, how to keep house, how to make a bed properly, which none of my children know how to do because apparently I'm not quite like Grandma Zook. But yeah, she taught me how to do a lot of things. I love to make cinnamon rolls, but I also love to can. I think there's certain things that are like a dying art that if we ever actually have to return back to it, nobody's going to know how to do it because we're so spoiled rotten.
Yeah.
But
we go to produce places like yours.
That's fine. Come on down. Come on down.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So I use a lot of her techniques and her recipes, but I also add to it, and I will be real honest, I have no secrets. There's no secret recipes. I use a lot of King Arthur's recipes because they have a school there and they teach and they have figured out the best of the best products. So if you're looking for good recipes for anything, type in King Arthur flour and whatever you're looking for, and they have tried and true recipes on there. So for today I have some cinnamon rolls rising, and they are in the oven, just regular cinnamon rolls, but we're also going to make a maple and brown sugar with bacon.
That would be good exercise too, to be honest.
Oh yeah, well you see, that might be problematic because I don't know that it's enough exercise to combat how many cinnamon rolls I'm going to eat. But yeah, it's definitely good exercise. But yeah, I need to roll more and eat less. But yeah, so that's who Grandma Zook was. They died. An interesting story about my grandparents is the way they died. They died in their garden together.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they were they were Christians, and it was horrible because my grandmother went out. She had seen my grandfather laying in the garden. She went out to help him, but first she called 911 and my mom. And when we got there, my grandmother was in the ambulance. She had had a heart attack on top of him, so she actually called her own ambulance. So it was horrible because we missed them like crazy, but then as we saw their friends dying one at a time, we knew where they were, we knew they were together, and so I have awesome memories of them, not only her helping me to bake and cook and do all the maternal things, but spiritual things, so she was a great example.
Right. Now, hopefully you guys can see, it looks like you spread this out just evenly, and now you're putting the bacon on.
Yep, I just melted the butter, put brown sugar in there with some maple syrup, real maple syrup, because I call real maple syrup the good stuff. My husband would say that the good stuff is the high fructose corn syrup. So whatever your family decides, but if you're looking for whole food, then you're going to want to be using maple syrup. So
no, regular, that's
regular.
And you go to Vermont, so you probably can get it up there.
Yeah, we do. We actually get it from some local people up there. They make a life out of it. You know, a lot of people don't do it for a living anymore, but they are people that their grandparents did it, and I don't know that anybody's getting rich on it, but you know what? It's coming from trees. It's whole food. Your body can metabolize it better than it can all the products that we eat that are highly processed.
Yeah.
So
I have to say, now she is using venison bacon, and
which I'm not allowed to use when we're in the market. We are in the test kitchen right now because we're closed until April 2nd.
Right.
But
it's really good though. I had to tell you.
My family loves venison. But yeah, you won't be getting any of that when you come to the market. Sorry.
It's really good.
Shut me down.
It's fat. It
Now-
kind of reminds me of turkey bacon a little bit.
Yep.
But it seems like it had a better flavor than turkey bacon.
Yeah, it's a better flavor. And
This looks like a sandwich.
well, you know what? We actually do a cinnamon roll, but it's not cinnamon, with egg, ham, and cheese for breakfast.
Yeah.
And like I said, rolls are versatile. It doesn't always have to be sweet. You can do savory, garlic or whatever.
Yeah. So you just kind of rolled it up and then pinched the sides together.
Yep, kind of rolled a little bit, and this is kind of difficult to cut because the bacon is really hard.
Oh, okay.
But
and then you just cut the pieces
you just
out.
cut it and just lay them down flat, and then they will be ready to rise. And then we will.
Now, have you made these before?
I have. Like I said, we try different things during the season, and then you see something and you kind of revisit it and you're like, oh yeah, that was really good. We never had this on the menu, but it would be one of those things that when we made it, it would be a special.
Right.
So
So
not always something you can count on. Unless
now go to there and show them how beautiful those look
I
on the
can show
camera.
So this is the bacon and maple. Sorry, it's kind of hard to tip it over without falling. But anyway, they are just cute little rolls, and they'll rise to about double, and
That's
the
a
bacon
big
will
cinnamon roll.
the bacon will be popping out.
To me, that'd be a cinnamon roll you'd want to share with somebody.
Yeah, I have 4 boys.
Yeah, she does. Big 4 strapping boys, so I'm sure they can down
Yeah,
one.
so things had to be big. So anyway,
Well, that's great. So, how did you get the market started? Like, what was your...
well, it's kind of funny because it's basically where the market is used to be our front yard. And one day I walked out there and I said to my husband, he does excavation. I said, can you just kind of stone this lot here? He looks at me and goes, for what? I said, I want to do a produce market. And he looked at me and he goes, you're out of your mind. But we were open within like a month, so.
Yeah, well, I know, you guys, you said you're coming up on your 3rd year.
Yeah. So back then, though, it was just plants and produce, and I had 4 boys that we were homeschooling, and he was right, it was too much. So we rented it out for about 10 years to Pearl's Produce, and then he just did plants and produce, and then he did sell baked goods from an Amish place as well. But then he wanted to retire, and I was at a different stage. 3 out of 4 of my kids have moved out, and the youngest is 16. So I need something to do, or my kids will not be happy because I'll be in their business.
Yeah.
So I better be in my own.
And that's where I'm losing it today. You got rid of you know what? It's kind of like this next stage of life, and we talk about that so often.
Right. I was depressed. You go from homeschooling 4 boys or having your kids in school, it doesn't matter. You're busy no matter what.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, what is your purpose? And I did pray about it. I wondered what I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in my husband's office, and I did not care for that. But, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to do this, and I figured I better do it before I'm 60 and don't.
And you're pretty young, too.
I'm 44.
Yeah, that's young.
I don't feel so young.
That's young to be in that kind of stage of life, really. I mean, you still have months still here.
Started early.
But you get there, and it's a lot of women go through it because I hear it so many times, and that's one reason why I wanted to do this is you can get rid of the fear and the negativity that people will give you and start this. And now you're starting this business, and I know you're very busy now.
I am, but and this year my goal is to figure out how to have a life and do it. Because I was working last year, literally the last 2 years, it's been like 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
And so as I'm figuring it out and as I'm learning and as I'm getting help that, I'm really not a good manager of people. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting better at that. And as I get better at that, then I can kind of step back and because I need to trust people. And,
you do. And
it's
always a process. I mean,
is.
you jump in it and then you just learn each and every day what new techniques that you need to learn for the following year. Yeah. And the advantage of is you get a little bit of break in between that you can kind of
I can work in the test kitchen.
Yeah.
Right.
Now what are we doing here?
What are we doing? We are doing bruschetta, or as my Italian friends would say, bruschetta. Bruschetta with cheese and pepperoni.
Oh, so that's more like a lunch.
It is. But it's still rolled up. It's a sweet dough. It's the same one that I use for cinnamon rolls, so it's got a really good sweet and savory combination.
And that smells really good.
Yeah, this is really good. I bought this stuff at one of these markets up in Vermont, Laurel Hill Bruschetta.
Okay.
It's from Massachusetts, so it's not local to here, but you know what? I love little places that make stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, it smells really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so, well, that's great. So what do you sell these as like a lunch item at the store?
Yep, when you walk in, you can read the message board that shows the specials. And sometimes, obviously, when something is a real hot seller, we'll keep it on for longer. Honestly, in the summer, when we have tomatoes growing in Pennsylvania like crazy, I'm trying to figure out what to do. In April, I'm going to have aeroponically grown tomatoes, and they actually taste like a summer tomato. We get them from a local lady.
Okay, so back up. What is that?
Aeroponically grown.
I do not know what that is.
Okay, so you can look it up. Look it up on my website too. I'm not on the website, on Facebook. Dragone, Adragone, is the name of the company, and they have these towers and little holes, and the seed is in there, and the water comes down through the tower.
I've seen that.
So there's no dirt involved. So it's totally clean stuff. You might get some aphids or something in there, but for the most part, it's totally clean. And so they do lettuce and tomatoes. So I will have local things, and they actually taste like good local tomatoes, but they're really expensive.
Yeah.
But in August, when you've got more tomatoes than you know what to do with, that's when I'm doing stuff like this.
Right.
We do flatbreads, and then we make fresh bruschetta, we make pesto. So that's, when I say seasonal, that's the kind of stuff
that you do.
Yeah, because
so you're going to get fresh.
Yeah,
out of the garden.
Yeah, you need to do something with those tomatoes. And, and so that's where
I have I grow tomatoes in the summer, and I don't know, last year my tomatoes were gorgeous, but the year before that, when they started turning red, they rotted from the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know what caused that.
They get weird fungus. I mean, and that's the problem when it's not, you have to just go with it, because you're either going to have tomatoes that are grown in, mass-produced conditions, or you have them from your garden, and you take what you get, and then come see me for whatever.
Right. Now it looks like she's putting a layer of pepperoni on top of that.
And we're putting some pepperoni on here, and then I'll cover the top of it with cheese, and then we'll roll them up just like we would a cinnamon roll. So
that looks like, it smells. Too bad we can't go like this and you guys could smell
waft it.
So, well, what are some of the other things that you guys had used this property for?
Well, it's funny because we're fourth generation here. My husband's aunt's family had the general store, but then this house was actually a drover's inn. So people that were traveling from Morgantown or Lancaster or Reading down to Philadelphia, if you've ever driven on Route 401, you know that it is a windy road. Okay, it's one of those roads where at night you don't want to be driving fast. The reason is it was a cattle path, and it's never actually morphed from that. Sure, it's better now than it was then, but the stories that I have been told, this place here that we live was called the Bucket of Blood at one point because of its reputation for its barroom brawls.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's been everything from a drover's inn, a tavern, there was my husband's excavation company. It used to be my mother-in-law's gigantic garden. She called it the truck patch. It's been a whole lot of things, but hopefully we'll stick with just market for now.
Yeah, I think the market's doing great, but well, guys, I'm sorry you can't have a sample of what she's making here today, but I think it's been great. The smell's great, so
you'll have to come in April and check it out.
Yeah, so come in April and check it out. But thank you for our Wednesday session, Angie. And our next, we'll be back here again on Friday, and we can talk about some different items. But hopefully some of these things will be, well, I guess they probably won't be ready because we do this at the same time. It's not like I'm going to be back in here on Friday.
Some of it's rising in the oven. I got to heat it up.
Yeah, so okay, guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.